Welcome to Pro Wrestling with Juice. Today, we are discussing the Total Extreme Wrestling 2020 Road to Glory Challenge. We're going to go over the PDF, and I'm also going to give you guys some tips for you to do the Road to Glory. Now, with this, we are going to do some follow-up videos later on about my best tips, why they work, and how they work. So, let's get into it. All right, you can see right here, I've got the PDF open. Now, this is taken straight from the Grey Dog software forums. So if you want, you can go over there. If you go to the TEW thread, you can find this there. I copied and pasted it into a Word document and turned it into a PDF. That way, if the forums ever go down, then I don't have to worry about it. So the goal of this is to rise through the ranks of wrestling and be a big star in the biggest company in the world. You've completed the challenge when you have gotten a 100 rating on the promotion's biggest pay-per-view event. So if you're playing real world, this would be like making it to WrestleMania and having a 100 rating match. That's just the gist of it. And in the main event, obviously. So not in the opener or anything like that. It's got to be the main event of the biggest show in the biggest company in the world. You begin as an 18-year-old custom-made wrestler. You head book. You cannot play as the owner, though. You start with just $1,000 as that company, and you must. You can jump up to like different size promotions and things like that, but you can only jump up to one size higher. So here's your basic stats. You start at 18 years old. If you're starting game is the start date January 2020, then use the birth dates of January 2001 through December 2001. Your reputation starts at the lowest. Your potential is excellent in all categories, or you can make it random if you want. Just go excellent. It's going to make your job a lot easier. You'll thank me later, because if you get into a game and you do not have a good Destiny stat, it just ruins the idea of getting a 100. Still might be a fun game, though. You can allocate your skills one of two ways. You get 750 skill points that you can put into whatever you want. Here's the base rules for it. Your character starts with Resilience 100, Reputation 50, Experience 0, and Respect 0. So then you put 750 points wherever you want with nothing exceeding 75. In our current Road to Glory game, I put a lot into his charisma, mic, star quality, and things like that. Give him a little bit in Brawl, and you can go check that out though. Just click on the link right here. You can also do a quick selection skill. So this, when you're in the editor and you're creating characters or creating workers, you can do these things. So top row left, set to trainee. Top row middle, you can choose whether your guy's a brawler, technician, flyer, spot monkey, or hardcore brawler. Top row right, set to whose skills are average. Bottom row left, set to of average athleticism. And bottom row middle, set to somewhat entertaining. Bottom row right, set to who looks like a star. Click create only once. If you're unhappy with your stats after the first click, then you can create your character using method 1. Then make the following changes. No skill should be higher than 75 except resilience. We don't want your characters getting hurt. If any stat is above a 75, then change it to 75. Set resilience to 100. Reputation to 50, respect to 0, and experience should be 0. Move points between sex appeal and menace if you wish. So in other words, if your character for some reason has a high sex appeal, you can change that to menace or vice versa, depending on what you want to do. Attributes will be added via mystery boxes as the game progresses. You can add up to 3 gimmick performance attributes, plays dominant well, etc., as long as they are balanced out by adding the same number of negative gimmick performance attributes. Can't play comedy, or can't play something else. Popularity, set it to 0 everywhere, because you're starting off as a backyard wrestler. That's just the way to think of it. You can create a new promotion that meets these standards of 0, 0, 0, 1000. And As this says right here, it is recommended that you select an owner who will be cheap and put them on a pay-per appearance deal. I like the idea of making this a referee, personally, with maybe a refereeing skill at about 50. You can do this with a road agent with like a psychology around 50, things like that. You don't have to do this. It could be a wrestler that you think you want to use for a long time that you don't want to lose. But again, you don't want them to be extremely expensive or they are going to make it very hard to climb up the ranks, especially when you start making some money. For instance, in my current Road to Glory game, I didn't set an owner. I wanted it random, and my owner costs me well over $100, which made a couple months difficult for a minute. So not a deal breaker, but it can be tough on you. Heck, you could even make it a superstar wrestler that you want to pass on skills to your main guy. And just see what happens. Now, when you make this owner part of the promotion, you're gonna have to do a couple things. You're going to have to create the worker if they're not in the database, or you then need to assign the contract to the promotion. Then once you've assigned the contract to the promotion, you then go into the promotion and then you can save the owner who it is. So there's some steps there that you're gonna have to do. If you guys need further elaboration, so you're having trouble with it, just comment below and I'll do a follow-up video. Choose the product that you want for your promotion. I recommend choosing products that are relatively PG, as close to family-friendly as possible. In fact, there is a family-friendly product. I recommend that because you get better sponsorship money. So that's why I would recommend that. And early on, sponsorship money is key. Here's the thing I said earlier about changing promotions. You can become a booker for another promotion, but it can only be one size larger. For the purposes of this challenge, big, large, and Titanic count as the same level. If you drive your promotion bankrupt, then you may only accept your next position with a company of the same size or lower than they were when they closed. You may not create company packs unless the AI initiates them, or you get an end-of-year role specifying that you do so. End-of-year roles are great. We're going to get to that here in a second. User preferences. Everything that affects gameplay should be left as default, making the game that little bit harder. So I think I made mine a little bit harder. I don't run it default. I do change a couple things. It says here you can change cosmetic preferences such as enable colored text and enable drag and drop booking, but not anything that affects gameplay such as booking times, momentum, and repetitive booking penalty. Repetitive booking penalty is going to hurt you early on when it comes to your ratings and stuff, but early on, ratings don't matter that much. So you can get away with having this tick. You're going to get the alert. You should definitely reuse workers a lot early on in the first few months. If you wish, you can activate the pre-booking requirements and bonuses. Achievements. New to Road to Glory 2020 are achievements. First match grades. First step, earn a match grade of 50 or more with your wrestler. This is going to take some time to get to for most people. If you choose a product that's heavily based on in-ring performance, you might be able to get there a touch quicker. It all is going to just depend on your product and your character and who they are matched up with. So some products and some workers can get there quicker than others. It's all just going to depend. You're also going to be able to do this when you take the next step. So a 75 or more with your wrestler. Then a 90 or more with your wrestler. And a 99 or more with your wrestler. This only applies when you get this the first time. So you only can do this 4 different times. Now, if you go out there and somehow you put on a match and it's a 99 and you never hit these other 3, that's four Destiny rolls right there. So, yeah. Event grades. So once you hit 50 for your event, so what you booked, you can get a roll. Same thing when you hit 75 and 90. You should be able to hit 50 within 2 years, I would say. Again, depending on how you book your product and all of that. Otherwise, it's going to take some time. These things are slow, and early on it's slower than later, which isn't a problem. It actually is what makes this game so much fun and how it creates longevity within this challenge. I know plenty of people who start playing a game and they only get a few months in. This challenge right here has kept me invested in so many games. And it's given me ideas, and it allows you to see how your worlds develop, whether you're playing the Cornellverse, Thunderverse, or even a real world mod. Company growth. So when you work for a tiny company, you get a role. When you hit a small company, you get a role. Medium, big, large, and Titanic. So again, that's 6 roles right there. So as you're growing, you're going to start getting more and more of these Destiny roles. I recommend going to Google, pull up a random number generator where you can plug in the numbers and go from there. Once you hit the Power 500, in the top 500, 250, 100, 50, and 10, each one of those, then you will get another Destiny role. Destiny roles are how your character is going to get over the top and be amazing. Miscellaneous things. A legendary angle. Be involved in a 100 rated angle. A legendary show. Book a 100 rated show. I don't think I've done a 100 rated show in TEW 2020. So I will be striving for that. I have definitely done a 100 rated angle before. In previous games, I've done all this stuff a bunch. Legendary event. Have one of your events reach legendary importance or win the main event of an already legendary show. So I believe this is going to count as one thing here if you do one or the other. I like the idea of making it 2. Winning the main event of a legendary show, I think is an accomplishment. But I also think reaching legendary importance. So I actually count this as 2 different ones. There's nothing in here to clarify it. There's no, person out there who's going to say, oh, you didn't do it to a T, or that wasn't how it was intended. I haven't seen that on the forums or anything. I've posed questions before in the thread on the forums, and most of the time it just gets glossed over and nobody comes back and responds. So it is what it is. I count that as 2 different things. Legendary year, win Wrestler of the Year in the annual awards. Basically become a wrestling god. The mystery box, when you complete a year. So every year you complete, you get an achievement. So you get a, not an achievement. Every time you finish a year, you get to do this role. This list was updated in July 2022. All the negative roles were removed and increased stat boost. This was because after 2 years, no one had completed the challenge yet, and it does seem a lot harder to get 100 rated matches. If you want more challenges, then the old list is in the FAQs section. So I think that is in my PDF as well. But a lot of different things here. I'm not going to go through it all, but there's so many awesome things here. Friends with benefits, and then you can get a working agreement with somebody or invite someone to join an alliance. You can do a war with someone, which is always fun. Master and Disciple. So I got this one in one of my saves. You can become the protege of anyone 10 years or more older than you are. They must be on your roster. Or you can become the mentor of anyone 10 years or more younger than you. They must be on your roster. Randomly roll from anyone who is eligible. So this is kind of cool, right? Because this also can make it so they pass on tips to you. This can single-handedly give you microphone skills or psychology. You start seeing your character at every event getting talked to, and these tips passed on. It can make a big difference. Can roll for a relationship. This gives you your promotion prestige or money. So that's interesting there. You can create a younger sibling wrestler, which is kind of interesting. Kind of like that one. Legendary, gain a best friend relationship with someone on your roster. So again, I've said in my game for Road to Glory, building up loyalties is huge. It does a lot for your company. Notice the grindstone. You have devoted yourself to training. You get +10 to any primary skill of your choice. This again is very helpful. All of these are awesome. So again, take the time, go check it out. I'm going to scroll through here, let you kind of take a look at it. I think these are fantastic. Okay. Groundswell of support. A lot of these too also will really help you put on amazing ratings, which will help you get over very quickly, especially once you've already developed a lot of skills. Some of these things are going to really help you a lot. I remember stamina was a big one for me with one of my characters because I didn't put enough points in stamina. I could only work like 6 to 7 minute matches before my guy was tired. And it wasn't even a rigorous, schedule or a promotion that hit hard. So it was rough, but I was begging for that. And I never got the stamina, I don't think. But yeah, so that's kind of all of those. There's only 54 of the different ones here. So again, it's awesome though. If you get down into the nitty gritty where it gets harder, they're a lot rougher. A lot rougher. This has a dice roller. Again, just Google random number generator on Google and it'll pop up with everything you need. Roll amnesty. Has your character had terrible luck with rolls? Struggling to get anywhere with a soft and hard drug using smoker? Once per character, you can use a roll amnesty and wipe all of your prior rolls. Oh, that's crazy. I don't know if I want to do that. The old list has some pretty negative things in here. Again, I'm not going to go into it too much, but you can get like soft drug user, for example, hard drug user, straight edge, all this stuff, right? So again, it's worth checking out. I think it adds to the fun. This is single-handedly my favorite part of TEW. I absolutely love doing Road to Glories. I love doing it in various mods just to see what I can do, whether it's taking an old Golden Era real world mod, bringing in guys like Sting, Sid, a young Undertaker, all those young guys, right? Great Muda, and seeing what I can turn them into, or getting them built up enough that the big promotions steal them away. But if you get loyalty early on, you can sometimes hang on to them longer. So it's always kind of cool. Depending on your destiny roles, you can end up with some really cool, relationships. So again, this for me adds so much to TEW 2020, and I can't recommend it enough. If you've had trouble running longer term games, this will fix that for you. It gives you something to strive for. It creates an incentive for you to book in a way that is more realistic, because you don't want to just put yourself in every main event. You kind of got to be smart with your character, but you want to book them, especially when they're young, as rookies with experienced guys. And you just really have to focus more, I think, on what you are doing, rather than just book, fantasy style, like, oh, I want to see this match and that match. And, it forces you to really think about what you're doing in a way that teaches you how the game works, how to exploit certain things a little bit. Exploit's a strong word, but figuring out how the mechanics of the game work and trying to use it to your advantage. It's no different than what real wrestling promoters try to do in real life. I mean, there's formulas for running successful shows. For example, you want your main event to be your hottest match, your opener to be your second hottest match, and then like before an intermission, you usually want that to be your third hottest match, right? So stuff like that. So there's a lot of stuff to it like that. Again, early on, be very frugal. Don't overspend. Look for cheap workers. Don't worry about the ratings of workers at the start. Look for cheap workers. So that's my recommendation. And your first few shows automatically will gain you popularity. If you get a 5 or higher rated match, you will gain popularity the first couple months. So don't overspend early on. Find the cheapest talent possible. I will be continuing my Road to Glory series here on the channel. Please hit subscribe if you want to see that. And in the future, I do plan on dabbling with more real world Road to Glory series, because I think they're a lot of fun in different time periods as well. So if there's a specific time period you would like to see, again, leave that in the comments below. This was Pro Wrestling with Juice, and we'll see you guys in the next one.